So when I was 18 years old, my mother said, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, a book called A Course in Miracles. Uh, my mother, devout atheist, uh, didn't like that, but I said, "Please, Mom, it's really important to me." So she got it. It was $40. Hardcover was the only available. And I fell in love with it, and I started dating it. I wasn't ready to commit to it, but I was very attracted to it. And I just opened up the teacher's manual and read from it and battled with it and debated with it, argued, and loved it anyway. It was a very interesting relationship. And I was developing a superficial understanding of some of these Course in Miracle concepts. And I had some interesting experiences trying to apply it. One day I went into my mother's room and I said to her, "Mom, I want you to know that I forgive you for everything." 18 years old. And she said, "What? You arrogant blah, blah, blah." She got really angry, and I was like, "What did I do wrong? What?" And of course now I understand that that's just has nothing to do with forgiveness. To say to somebody, "I forgive you," to their face, it sort of reinforces the illusion that they did something to you and that you're big enough to let it go. And it's not a healthy use of that word. I was applying for a job. I really wanted this job. And they hired me. And before I left the office, I said, "I want to tell you some of my fears about this job." And I thought I was applying Course in Miracle principles, like there are no private thoughts, just all 12-step. Yeah, anyway, I just had this whole idea that I was being an open, honest, I was being a fool, and I didn't get the job. So there have been lots of colorful experiences along the way. Starting A Course in Miracles at age 18, 5 years after it came out to the public. So I went to all kinds of groups, study groups. Eventually I went from dating it to committing, meaning doing the lessons. And throughout my 20s, I lived in A Course in Miracles community in New Jersey, of all places, practiced the lessons, did my best to work with it, understand it, and I even started to teach it. So it was a big part of my life. And then in my early 30s, I started to hear Jesus and just develop a trust that his voice, his teachings, his energy were speaking to me. And one of the first things he said is, "Put down the book." And I was like, "What?" I saw it as like the absolute truth, the Bible for me. Put down the book? Why? And he said, well, 2 reasons. Number one, it's holding you back. You are now available for high-speed internet. This is not the way he said it, but this is the way I can explain it to you the best. You are now available for high-speed internet. Do you want to hold on to your modem and spend, all this time getting online with all this uncomfortable sound? Remember those sounds? Or do you want to just get online? And that's the way I understood it, is that the Course in Miracles guides you to hear your inner voice. Once that connection has been established, then it could be, this is what happened to me, that studying the book is what used to be a tool to set you free becomes something that holds you back. It becomes another belief system, BS. And I see a lot of Course in Miracle people who've been with it, 20, 30 years, and it's not mine to judge whether it's holding them back to keep going with it and treating it as the absolute truth. But it really was holding me back. And the other thing he said is, we're going to be sending you people from all walks of life who do not speak the language of A Course in Miracles. And we want you to begin to develop other languages, to learn other languages. 12 steps of recovery. I was forced into those meetings through my addictions. Now I speak it fluently. And Buddhism and meditation and just all these different tools, therapy, actually just talking to a therapist, and therapists that help with emotional release, the tapping that I do on YouTube, all of these things have been part of my curriculum. And because I was so single focused on A Course in Miracles for so long, I was not available to learn other languages. So, and it's true that my coaching practice now is filled with people who speak all these different languages. I work with atheists, Course in Miracles students. It's a wonderful thing to be able to be truly helpful to people wherever they are and whatever floats their boat at the time. And let's see, what else? Let me close my eyes for a moment. It was really scary for me to put the book down. Not to put it down in the sense that I would never open it up again, not in the sense that I would never refer to a lesson or a text passage. None of that. It was just that I stopped doing the lessons religiously. My friend Alan Cohn said there are 2 times where a spiritual path blesses you the most. Number 1 is when you commit to it, and number 2 is when you let it go. Spiritual path, spiritual teacher, methodology, commit to it, beautiful. And then the process of letting it go, it can be very scary if it has become a belief system. And I see A Course in Miracles as laying down the law. I see it as a book of law and order. And it's filled with structure to help you get disciplined, to help you do the mind training. So it's immensely valuable. And at the same time, the purpose of structures and laws and order and all of that is to create a container where you can do your journey. And at a certain point, you grow out of that structure. You grow out of the rigidity. You grow out of the need for an external authority telling you what's so. And you move on. And Jesus says, you graduated. Nobody beats you up. It's a graduation when you let go. And it's scary. Absolutely. It can be scary. Because trusting your own inner voice without the structures that served you in the past can be exhilarating, terrifying, maybe just peaceful because you're so trusting that you know that you don't need it anymore. And now I live in A Course in Miracles community again. I'm living, well, not quite A Course in Miracles. I'm living at Namaste Village in Ajijic, Mexico. And we do mention A Course in Miracles. I'd say about half the people living here study it, and we have A Course in Miracles group. And when I started studying it and I went to all these groups, I heard a lot of debating and even arguing. I mean, some people really got into arguing about their interpretations or what they thought it meant. And I look back on it, and it hurts my heart. I mean, I saw people walk out of the room, almost come to blows because of disagreements. And that was the early 80s. And now we have Course in Miracles groups at Namaste Village, and it's so different. We read a passage, we meditate, we put our fears and our guilt and our prayers on the altar without trying to fix each other, without even debating a damn thing. So us Course in Miracles students and teachers have come a long way. And this video is not meant to give you any kind of advice. You're on your own journey with A Course in Miracles. You may be attracted to it, but not yet committed. You may be committed. You may be ready to have an amiable separation, and maybe this video was the medicine you needed to trust yourself, to trust that inner voice that might be saying, you've had enough structure, now go fly. Forget this course and live your life. Have a wonderful day.